Mike Pence, of all people, has just swooped in to save Joe Biden. Yes, Mike Pence, a man so flamboyantly pure he won't have dinner with ladies not his wife. And yet Mike Pence also had secret documents in his house, just like Joe Biden. Bet you didn't see that coming.
Okay, so let's first note, of course, that there has to be a casually homophobic comment. It is Tucker Carlson. He was raised by a homophobic and transphobic monster of a father, and he doesn't have the brains to transcend that. So he's just going to internalize and hold on to that homophobia for the rest of his life. But the rest of it, of course, is absolute nonsense. The idea that Mike Pence decided to search his house for documents, has turned them in to save Joe Biden, is so stupid that one would hope even a member of Tucker Carlson's audience would be able to see through it. And I don't just mean that obviously he wouldn't want to save Joe Biden, but if the idea that he is putting forward is that somebody coming out with a revelation that they have documents that in theory they didn't need to reveal is meant to save the person that came before them in this ladder of scandal, well then I guess if Pence did it to save Biden, then Biden did it to save Trump, I suppose. Why did Biden reveal it? Why didn't Biden just shred the documents? Is it possible that Mike Pence, well, I might disagree with him on a lot of different stuff, wants to avoid more serious consequences by willingly giving up the documents, or maybe feels like he should actually comply with the law, and that Joe Biden, while I disagree with him on virtually every political topic, also feels that way in those two ways? Is it possible that maybe there is something distinct between both of them on the one side and Trump on the other, that Trump believes he is above the law, and that in fact Tucker Carlson wants him to be above the law? But anyway, no, that's not convenient. So Tucker goes on to say, we can't say for certain, but it's entirely possible. In fact, it's likely that Mike Pence was asked to do this by federal prosecutors who are trying to build a case against his old boss, Donald Trump. The point would be to show that not every federal official walks off with state secrets. Donald Trump was uniquely evil in this regard, as in so many others. He does his condescending voice. First of all, if your idea is to show that not everybody has secret documents, it's a weird plan to do that by showing that you have secret documents. So I don't understand what the hell that's supposed to mean. But again, this is why I feel kind of bad for Alex Jones recently. That is exactly as stupidly fact-free conspiratorial as anything that Alex Jones would say, but it is convenient to believe it, and so he just says it. Mike Pence putting forward that he has these documents is a behind-the-scenes chess game designed to stop Trump somehow, even though Pence stood by Trump's side for literally years, has barely even criticized him after the guy tried to get him murdered. But again, he reveals this, and that is inconvenient, and thus he is a traitor. JR, I hate it.
Someone should
the whole
ask.
Thing.
This is when repetitive questions over and over again need to start being asked. So you have folks that are supporting, I guess, conservative movements, pundits like Tucker Carlson here. Every time Mike Pence sticks his face back in front of a camera and a microphone, someone should ask him. So media reports, some say in the media that you're assisting Joe Biden with this document issue. Is that the truth, Mike? And he's got to answer. He's got to talk about this. Almost cursed there. This BS that they keep spewing all over the place. They just say it, it stays in the ether. No one brings it back up again, except for the folks who retained it and then build there's some kind of a political reality based off of these absolute blatant lies. It needs to be asked again of the people who are the players in this. Mike Pence, did you help Joe Biden by setting up your document and classified document issues? Make him answer the question. He's got to say either I have no comment or who said that. He's got to say something, because now that they're attacking their others in a way, they need to be on record for what their response is to it. Because if a Democrat says it, guess what? They will be asked. How about we ask him now?
The whole thing is so ridiculous. Because again, if they had a single principle, this would be easy to manage for them. They would simply have to state what they want the standard to be and then apply it. That's it, but they can't do that because they want there to be a different standard. They want the guy who did the worst version of this to get off scot-free. They want the guy who did a much lesser version and possibly completely without knowing it to be sentenced to death. And particularly because he's the vice president, so he couldn't declassify documents. But oh wait, now there's a Republican vice president. We also want him to get off scot-free. So it's just they're contorting themselves around all of these desires of theirs when you could just have principles and live by them. It's way simpler. It doesn't pay as well. I don't have as fancy a house as Tucker Carlson. And note that I say house when he has many houses, but it is a simpler, more consistent way to live.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.